I believe in slow radio, that to change the world we can't be sightseers skimming by on a tour bus. So Northern Spirit radio programs are 55 minutes long. But I also know that your time is valuable and you have many passions and demands, so I've prepared for you some tidbits which I hope will tempt you to dive into this week's Northern Spirit radio programs. This week for Spirit in Action, we zoomed over to northern Iraq, which in the USA we might think of as the Kurdish area. But there is a minority people in that region called the Yazidis, and the forces of ISIS set out to obliterate them 6 years ago. And today's Spirit in Action guest, Lisa Miara, now lives there, the only Jew in the area, working on the healing of the Yazidi women and children. Here are some clips from my visit with Lisa.
And Daesh ISIS invaded on the 3rd of August 2014. Ethnic cleansing, 100%, crimes against humanity, 100%, war crimes, 100%, and genocide, 100%. And we find that within the space of a few hours between 2 a.m. on this hot August night and 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., you have close to 500,000 people uprooted and running for their lives. Around 12,000, possibly more, because numbers are always changing, were taken off into the captivity of ISIS. I always believe love wins. Love cannot fail. Love has to win. And in love, there's the power of life. And I think this is what we're seeing. Go onto our Facebook page. You're not going to see ragged, torn, depressed kids. You're going to see kids that with all of the loss, with all of the suffering that is still ongoing, are smiling. I'll never forget these kids that went up to Sinjar just a month ago and spent 4 days inside graves, alongside graves, identifying bodies and then burying them. And they came back and they went into English and they went into art. And it's not a denial, it's not a, I'm boxing it in here, and it's just, they're fighting for life. They want to know. We did a crazy thing a few years ago, Mark. It was totally crazy. And I hope we're going to do a less wild but adventurous repeat in March this coming year. We did a fashion show for 20 girls that had been released from ISIS.
Oh, wow.
It was actually, I mean, talk about fools rushing where angels fear to tread. I think the angels are still shaking. Look at those crazies. But we had an awesome Christian fashion designer from Hollywood that somehow, word of mouth, this idea she heard, and we connected, and she said, hey, I'm going to donate these dresses. Just find the girls, measure them, give me a lead as to Yazidi colors, what they're allowed to wear, not what to wear, design, so on. She designed 20 ball dresses. And we took these girls, we worked with them for about 6 months. And we took them to a hotel in Dohuk, and then just to shower them, to do makeup, to do hair, to do nails. The hotel were incredible to us, to give them lunch. And then, of course, you know, last minute, the penny drops. We were putting them into a bus with a driver, and I thought, oh my goodness, a bus with the driver. That's how they were taken onto Mosul and prepped for the slave markets. And here we're putting these same girls into a bus and taking them to a hotel, to a city. They've never been outside their village, and we're doing this same thing. So we spoke to the driver and we asked him to put on happy music and give them candy. Come into the hotel. They'd never been into an elevator. They were terrified. Finally, we were losing all of our girls, and they were going up and down 20 floors in the elevator because they liked the idea. but we had to think of everything. We had to think how it was possible that they were presented in front of these men, and we'd done this event for women. We prep the girls, we get them behind stage. I walk out, and the first 10 rows are nothing but men. We didn't invite the men came. And so we had to regroup again and to think how to do this. They were all dignitaries, all VIPs sitting in the first 10 rows. If you tip them out of their chairs, they'll be offended forever. And yet there was no way we could have these girls being presented to 10 rows of men.
To the slave market, right?
Yes, exactly. It was like, oh, horrors. This is being reenacted in front of our eyes. So we had to redo that and bring some girls to stand in front and get girls holding candy and gifts in front of the men and blocking their view, bring all of the 20 out at once so it wasn't a parading of one-on-one. But these are the things that actually give them value. This did take me also into a journey of very, very personal healing. There was no way that, I mean, this is a subject I find very personal, and it's a very complex subject, but there was no way that I could help my son heal if I had areas that were unhealed in me. If I had hatred, if I had a desire for revenge, if I wanted to see blood spilled on those that tried to spill his blood, I would be toxic to him. I would be toxic to everybody. So I really had to go through a wrestling match with myself, and I believe even at times with God, to see me emerge as a person with, let's say, I hope more love, more tolerance, more patience, more understanding, more compassion for the stranger.
The full Spirit in Action interview with Lisa Miara for December 19th, 2020 is on northernspiritradio.org and all the places our podcast version is carried. Listen, go deep, and let's make the world better together.